Terra-based resource presents a computer-based training tagged the CBT nuggets on Watermark in Word 2013. This video is meant for beginners to learn how to insert watermark in the document. So let's get started. Now the question is, what is watermark? Anyone want to ask what is watermark? And that brings us to the definition of watermark. Watermark, as you can see, is a translucent image that appears behind the primary text in a document, irrespective of the number of pages. An illustration video is below. Now, this video, as you can see, contains a document with multiple pages. Contains about 20 pages. Now, beneath the text, you'll notice that the watermark appears from bottom right to bottom left to top right, beneath the primary text, which of course the font color is in black, but the watermark is colored sky blue. So irrespective of the number of pages, once you insert a watermark once, it appears on all pages in your document. The watermark is restricted to a document. As you can see on this document that is being scrolled, it appears bottom left to top right. You choose your choice color. So now let's go ahead and see how watermark can be inserted, because the question is, how do I start? Anyone want to ask the question? Once you load Word, what you get to see is a blank screen. So how do we insert watermark? And that brings us to step 1 of inserting watermark, which is from your Word window, you click on Design tab. Once you click on the Design tab, that brings us to the second step, which is you click on watermark. As you can see, there's a vivid description. The watermark is at the top right of your Design tab. Once you click on it straight ahead, it brings us to the third step, where this window will be created, and you get to see some rectangles containing the default watermark. But at this stage, the third step, you will be expected to click on Custom Watermark, of which as soon as you click on Custom Watermark, that brings us to step number 4, which would straight ahead activate the printed watermark dialog box, where end users will be expected to choose an option. Now, because we intend inserting a text watermark, we'll then have to click on this option, Text Watermark, which is the third option. And as soon as you do that, it brings us to the 5th step, where the dialog box will be created and will then be expected to actually type the parameters. So this is an illustration, a demonstration of how you type your parameters. Firstly, you click on Text Watermark from the dialog box. As soon as you click, the portion you are supposed to work on, which of course is this, will be activated. Now you notice that the default text ASAP has been deleted. You now type your choice text. For this illustration, I've typed in Terra-based resource. Now I made a typographical error, so you can see I've erased by pressing backspace and I've retyped the correct text. Font and size should be left on the default stage. When you click on color, as I've done, you come and choose your choice color. Look at, I've clicked on blue. It is too thick. You are at liberty to click and choose your choice color, after which you click on apply. And as soon as you click on apply, it will be applied on your page, after which you then click on close. So watch, we have successfully inserted text watermark on our document. Is this easy and straightforward? So now we've seen a lot of demonstration. So let's come to this document and practice how to insert watermark. Like I explained earlier on, once you load your application, you get to see a blank window as we have now. So you can insert watermark before typing your text or after typing your text. So let me start by demonstrating how watermark can be inserted before we type our text. So step 1, I'll click on Design tab. And just by clicking on Design tab, you get to see the content of the ribbon. You can see we have document formatting, after which we have page background. Now within the page background group, we have 3 menus: watermark, page color, and page border. But I'll click on watermark. That's why I'm here. Now, as soon as I click on watermark, as you've noticed, it activates the menu of the watermark. We have default watermarks like confidential in diagonal and horizontal formats. We also have do not copy in diagonal and horizontal. I have the liberty of coming to the bottom and clicking on the drop down arrow to see other options like draft, sample, ASAP, and lastly, urgent. All these are default watermarks. Now, to insert either of them, for instance, the diagonal urgent, just by clicking on it, straight ahead, the diagonal watermark urgent has been inserted on this page. But to go ahead and insert a watermark that will reflect my choice text, that's a customized watermark, it is still simple. Step 1, I'll have to click on watermark. As soon as I do that, step 2, I'll then come to the bottom of this dialog box and click on custom watermark. As soon as you do that, it activates the printed watermark dialog box. You will notice that there are 3 options. The default is no watermark. The second option is picture watermark, while the third option is text watermark. Now, because I've inserted a default watermark, automatically text watermark has been selected. So I'll come to the first rule, language English. We'll leave it at that. Text currently reflects urgent. I'll click beside the last character, and from my keyboard, I'll press backspace gently. As I press backspace, it erases, and it has erased the default text completely. I'll then type my choice text, which is terabis hyphen terabis. I inserted underscore. I've erased. Now, terabis space and resource. I've typed my choice text. Now, for the font, the default font is Calibri. It's an official font. We'll leave it at that. For the size, it's on auto. Auto is the acronym for automatic. The application would automatically insert the watermark based on the dimension of your document. So it's always advisable we leave the size on automatic. But for color, currently the gray color is not too effective a security feature because it will eventually not contrast with the font color of our default text, which would be black. So to change this to my choice color, I'll click on this color. Now that I've clicked on it, I'm at liberty to come to the theme colors or standard colors. Now the theme colors are faint, while the standard colors are very legible. It is always advisable you choose a color that will contrast the background of your hard copy and the font color of your text. So I'll click on red. Once I click on red, the color menu now displays my choice color. Beneath that, we have layout. There are just 2 layouts for watermark, diagonal and horizontal. So by default, diagonal has been selected. It is from bottom left to top right. By the right, you notice there's semi-transparent. It's always advisable you leave that option checked so that the watermark does not deface the font color of your text. After all said and done, you then click on apply. Now, as soon as I click on apply, watch. The customized watermark has automatically substituted the default watermark, which was urgent. So currently we now have terabase resource, after which I'll click on close. So now I've successfully inserted my watermark from the bottom on my page. Currently I have just 1 page. You notice it starts from bottom left to top right. Terabase resource. So for me to insert my text, now watch, I'll type the formula for random text, which is equal to RAND. I'll press Shift 9 to open the parentheses, after which I'll punch 50 and Shift 0 to close the parentheses. Once I press my enter key, straight ahead, I've successfully inserted random text of about 9 pages. This is page 9 of 9. I'll press Ctrl Home to return me back to page 1. And from page 1 of 9, as I scroll downwards, you'll notice that the watermark starts from bottom left to top right. So this is page 1. As I scroll further, you get to see page 2, the same watermark. As I scroll down, I'm on page 3, the same watermark, terabase resource. I'll scroll further, and this is also page 4. You can see from the status bar, this is page 4 of 9. And as I scroll further, we'll come to page 5. So you notice that all the pages now have the watermark inserted. So this is how simple it is for you to insert your text watermark. And that brings us to the end of watermark in Word 2013. For the Hausa version of this tutorial, just call on us. Expect it very soon with Tervis Resource.